Koinu much stronger as it approaches Taiwan. So a substantially developing typhoon which has rapidly intensified over the course of the last 24 hours, now a strong category 3 on the Saffir Simpson scale at 19.6 north, 126.5 degrees east. Moving northwestwards at this time as of 6 p.m. Taipei time on October 2nd. It was moving northwest at 9 miles per hour, winds of 125 miles per hour or 200 kilometers per hour, an estimated central pressure of 948 millibars. This may be a tad conservative, but we do expect that possibly more strengthening on the way, a little bit more, before it reaches its peak in the next 24 hours. So here it is displayed on the map with its wind field, which is, actually somewhat small. That's the latest from the JTWC there, official from them. 19.6 north, 126.5 degrees east, and we have signal 1 warnings in effect for parts of the Philippines: Isabela, round to Ilocos Norte, northern Kalinga and Abra, the Babayan and Batanes Islands. That's all around the northern coast of Luzon. It is 402 kilometers from Santa Ana, 475 from Basco, 500 from Itbayat, 587 from Miyakojima in Japan, and 783 from Kaohsiung City in southern Taiwan. And that may well be a location that gets very close to the storm's serious effects as it makes landfall. So we're still most concerned about flash flooding, not quite as much forecasted now as yesterday, but we are still expecting up to 1,000 millimeters of rain possibly in some of these areas, with the storm stalling near Taiwan on the latest forecast, this time a little bit to the southwest. We've made no illusions here that it is a difficult forecast to predict here, and it could be stalling along the east coast like the models were suggesting yesterday, or it could be to the southwest like what they're saying today. And here is that projection. So next few days there, that wind field extends mainly in the northwestern quadrant, and then it's moving through southern Taiwan on Thursday into Friday into the South China Sea now, is what the latest GFS ensemble mean is showing by the time we get to the weekend there, dying off as it starts to run up towards Hong Kong. Well, its current intensity, decent confidence, but satellite techniques from NOAA and SSEC ADT both going with close to 140 miles per hour right now. JTWC a little low at 120, and the JMA a little bit of catching up to do at 105. So I think it's a decent estimate there, 125 miles per hour. It's probably a borderline category 4 at this stage, and if it keeps going the way it is, it will reach that intensity fairly shortly. This is a JTWC forecast cone there, calling for a 110 knot peak, which is where we have it right now, and not weakening very much before its landfall there in southern Taiwan, and then weakening significantly after that, but still maintaining category 1 typhoon status, the JWC thinks, as it moves on towards China. Latest GFS is calling for this scenario, and you can see very strong winds, of course, as we know, and then moving through, piling through the island of Taiwan. All of the coastlines there will feel these strong winds, and of course heavy rainfall all around, with potentially dangerous winds of up to category 3 force as it does make that landfall. If it doesn't stall beforehand though, because if it does stall before making landfall, then there is that chance that it might weaken a little bit, and that will help slightly, but not very much. Well, here is the expected simulated radar imagery, showing the southern side having very much the better of the worst conditions there, with the most strongest signatures on that radar simulation. So that implies that the heaviest rainfall will be down there on that southern side, the strongest winds as well, quite possibly, but there will be a large wind field to that northwestern quadrant, but all around these coastlines from the northern Philippines through the whole of Taiwan need to be completely on guard for this storm, with potentially dangerous consequences there as it does make that landfall around about the 5th or 6th. Here is the rainfall expectations then, moving out towards the 7-day timeline, and we are expecting once again very high amounts of precipitation over the mountains of eastern Taiwan mainly. Not as much as we were looking at yesterday. It was calling for 52 inches, I think it was. Now it's only going with around less than 20 inches, which is 500 millimeters. Still a lot of rainfall, and could cause catastrophic flash flooding and more general flooding over time as well. The impacts in the Philippines may be knocked down slightly there as well, with significant rainfall though still enhancing the monsoon along that western coast of Luzon, getting up towards 6 inches, 150 millimeters. Sea surface temperatures on the whole remain good, at least 29 degrees Celsius. These numbers here quite often underestimate, so probably above 30 degrees in parts of the South China Sea. Near the coast of Taiwan, 28 to 29. If it does move into that gulf between Taiwan and China though, those temperatures will drop a little bit to around 27 degrees Celsius, but still decent conditions all round as far as sea surface temperatures are concerned. It certainly won't be that factor that kills off this storm in a few days. It will likely be wind shear, possibly upwelling and of course land interaction. Well, here it is on satellite imagery over the course of this evening. Sunset into darkness there, and you can see how the storm has been progressing, not moving particularly quickly as it happens. Northwestward motion there, around 312 degrees as we mentioned earlier, but looking really good on that satellite imagery. Southern side obviously is stronger there, with some really blowy up cloud tops there into the minus 80s quite easily. A decent eye appearing there as well, probably into the positives maybe, and the northern side, a little bit of work still needs to be done there. You can look at all of this imagery live on the Force 13 website, force13.com/satellite, but the core of this storm is getting much better established, certainly compared to yesterday. A little bit of work to do on the northern side, but this storm is intensifying steadily now after that rapid rate earlier, and we could be looking at a Category 4 overnight here as it heads towards Taiwan.